What if a single moment could reveal not just power, but purpose? What if a miracle wasn't just about meeting a need, but exposing what's really in the human heart? And what if the greatest sign wasn't the food itself, but what it pointed to? The scene opens in a quiet place across the Sea of Galilee. A large crowd is already forming, drawn not by curiosity alone, but by something they've seen before: healing, authority, something different in the presence of Jesus Christ. They follow him, not because they fully understand, but because they've witnessed something undeniable. And Jesus sees them, not as a burden, not as an interruption, but as people in need. There's a detail here that often gets overlooked. He sees the crowd before they even ask for anything. Before hunger is spoken, before requests are made, he already knows. And then, unexpectedly, he turns to one of his disciples. "Where shall we buy bread that these may eat?" The question is directed at Philip the Apostle. But this isn't just a practical question, it's a test. Because Jesus already knows what he's going to do. Philip looks at the situation logically. Thousands of people, limited resources, no nearby solution. 200 denarii worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may have a little. In other words, this is impossible. And honestly, from a human perspective, it is. Another disciple, Andrew the Apostle, steps in. He brings something small, almost insignificant. There is a lad here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish, but what are they among so many? That question echoes even today. What is this compared to the need? What is my effort compared to the problem? What is my faith compared to the impossibility? And yet, this is where everything begins to shift. Because Jesus doesn't dismiss what's small. He receives it. Make the people sit down. There's order in the moment, calmness, no panic, no rush. The crowd sits, about 5,000 men, not even counting women and children, thousands waiting, watching, unaware of what is about to happen. Jesus takes the loaves and then something simple but powerful. He gives thanks. Before the miracle, before multiplication, before the visible change. Gratitude comes first, and then he begins to distribute. Not dramatically, not loudly, but steadily. Bread is passed, fish is shared, and somehow it doesn't run out. Piece after piece, person after person, everyone receives, everyone eats, and not just a taste, as much as they wanted. This isn't survival, this is abundance. And when they are filled, completely satisfied, Jesus gives another instruction: gather up the fragments that remain so that nothing is lost. This detail matters, because it shows that what God provides is never careless, never wasteful. The disciples gather what's left, 12 baskets full, more than what they started with. Think about that. What was once not enough becomes more than enough, and the crowd begins to react. This is truly the prophet who is to come into the world. They recognize something, but not fully, because their next move reveals their misunderstanding. Jesus perceives that they are about to come and take him by force to make him king. They've seen the miracle. They've tasted the provision, and now they want control. They want a king who feeds them, a leader who solves their physical needs, someone who fits their expectations. But Jesus withdraws. He leaves, because what they want is not what he came to give. This moment is deeper than a miracle. It's a revelation of hearts. The disciples saw a problem, the crowd saw an opportunity, but Jesus saw something greater, a chance to reveal who he truly is, not just a provider of food, but the source of life, not just someone who fills temporary hunger, but the one who satisfies the soul. This event, recorded in the Gospel of John chapter 6, is not just about bread and fish. It's about trust, about perspective, about what we expect from God. Because sometimes we come with the same mindset. We bring our needs, our problems, our limitations, and we ask, how is this enough? But the miracle begins not when we have more, but when we surrender what we already have. The 5 loaves and 2 fish weren't impressive. They weren't sufficient, but they were available. And in the hands of Jesus, availability becomes abundance. There's also something else. The crowd followed because of what they saw. But following based on signs alone doesn't lead to true understanding. It leads to shallow faith. Faith that depends on outcomes. Faith that fades when things don't go as expected. And Jesus doesn't want followers who only stay when miracles happen. He wants hearts that trust, even when they don't understand. This is why he steps away. Because their desire to make him king wasn't rooted in truth. It was rooted in convenience. and that's a challenge for us. Do we seek God for who he is or for what he gives? Do we follow him because of truth or because of benefit? Because real faith goes deeper. It sees beyond the miracle to the meaning, beyond the provision to the provider, beyond the moment to eternity. The feeding of the 5,000 is not just about what Jesus did, it's about what it reveals, that nothing is too small, that no situation is beyond his reach, that what we surrender he can multiply, but also that we must be careful not to misunderstand his purpose, because he didn't come to simply make life easier. He came to transform it completely, to offer something greater than temporary satisfaction, something eternal, and it all starts with a simple act. Bringing what we have, trusting who he is, and allowing him to do what only he can do. Thank you for watching this video. If this message encouraged you or made you think deeper, don't forget to like, follow Holy Path Insights, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it today.